Hey YouTube, today we're going to be working on the Ninja 250 race bike, and we're going to be converting the brakes with stainless steel brake lines and some double H EBC brake pads, as well as bringing it up to 5.1 dot fluid. I'm going to start first with changing the brake pads. Okay, what I'm first going to do is I'm going to remove the caliper by removing these two bolts here and pulling the caliper off. Removing the top and the bottom bolts from the caliper, hold, and that'll pull back the caliper. Slide it off. Okay, you have to remove the two Allens that are actually holding the pads in, which is here and here. Okay, while removing these Allen keys, sometimes you don't want to be sitting where it's flexing the wire. I just lightly put the caliper back on just so I can break them free. There you go. Okay, as you slide the pins out, the pads will come out. Okay, I'm just going to take a little brake clean and clean in here because there's like bug webs. Now I'm going to take an old pad and just take a C-clamp and push the calipers or the pistons back. I'm just going to push the caliper in so we can get the pistons all the way back. That one's back. There we go. They're both all the way back. You see the pistons are all the way down. Okay. Alright, this is the old brake pads. There's really nothing wrong with them. They had a lot of meat left to them. These are the new brake pads. These are the double H. Different material. This is much better for racing. The rear pin in, I just slightly push the pins in so that I can hold them in place. This is the rear pin. And as I can see, the separator came up a little bit. I'm gonna have to just push that in. I'm gonna do that off camera. Okay, I slid the pins through both brake pads. And now I'm gonna get it to where it's gonna catch the threads, and I'm just gonna thread it in. Tighten that when it's on the bike. I'll keep tightening it down once I get the caliper back on. Just got to separate the brake pads and stick them on. Okay, so we got the brake pads in. We have it back on the bike. Now we're going to turn over to changing the brake lines over to stainless steel brake lines. So we're going to have to drain all the fluid. We're going to have to disconnect it up here. You got two banjo bolts there, and then you're gonna have to do it down here, and you got two banjo bolts down, or one banjo bolt with the banjo washers. So I believe it came with new banjo washers, so that's what we're gonna do next. Gonna drain the fluid from up top. I'm gonna open up the bleeder and try to bleed it out that way too. Okay, I've just cracked it off film, the top of the reservoir, just because you always gotta be careful with these screws that they don't strip. So I cracked it before I actually got on camera. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to take out the fluid up here. And then I'm going to break free the brake lines. Okay, I'm looking at this brake fluid. This brake fluid's really cloudy and shitty. It doesn't need to look like that. Not sure it's even the proper dot. Okay, I'm just gonna crack the brake line just so I can get the brake fluid out of it. Gotta be careful with this stuff that you don't get it on paint. For us, it really doesn't matter. Our bike's getting painted in in general, but you just want to be able to get that out. There's two washers. There's one in the back, one in the front of the banjo. So let that drain for a second. Biggest thing is getting it off of here. I'm going to probably pull that so that I don't have to yank the wire. That's big enough. This one. It goes through too, right? So I have to undo it from here too. That's holding it there. Okay, I basically loosened that up and this wire wouldn't come out with that. I'm gonna have to see when we go and put the new fender on it if we can get that off of this. So basically I just wiped it and just made sure there was no brake fluid dripping, and I just pulled it back out. There's one bolt here. It looks like it's holding some kind of bracket. For it. We're going to take that off and then loosen the top. Okay, so the line goes from here around the back of the fork to the back of the around the front of the fork to the back of the fork into that little clip that I took off, and then down to the caliper. So. Okay, washer in front, washer behind. Gave me 2 extra washers, not really sure why. Like it went from behind, right? That thing. This one on. Okay, I have the path, I think, where we want this thing. Just want to adjust this one bracket, make it kind of go more straight. Because there was a rubber hose that was sitting on the other one, that's what that was, so just want to kind of make it go in a straight line. Tighten it back up. Okay, now I have the path that we want, and then I'll tighten the banjo bolts. These are just hand tight for right now. I'll put fluid in it and drain it out, or bleed it out, not drain it out. All right, we're all done with this thing. Had the everything's bled out. It's all done in right. And we're going to be moving on to the back. As you can see, got brakes. We should be much better now. And we're going to take the back, we're going to pull the canister off because we can't reach into where we need to be to get to the brakes. I mean, I'd rather just take the canister and get it out of my way. Okay, so now we're going to do the rear brakes. Like I said before, I pulled the rear can. It probably didn't have to, but to me I just prefer to do that because these bolts for the pads are really tight. And I just wanted to get them loose before I did that. So like I did the front, I'm going to do the brakes first, and then or the pads, and then I'll change over stainless steel brake lines. I'm just going to break these free. Hope I'm going to break these free. There we go. Okay. I'm going to stop for dinner, so eat something. Okay, I pulled out the brake pads and I pushed back, well, I pulled out the outside one and I pushed back the pistons. And I'm just going to pull this pad out and replace them. And you can see there's some, again, some bugs and stuff in there. Give me the small little screwdriver. Small, that's not the small one. Oops. Stick this on real quick. Okay, so we're got it all done, as you can see. Now, if you come around here, you can see how much bigger the pads are. You see the difference? Yes?
Yes.
And in the back, this is the front. So they were pretty worn. So good thing to change them. But now they got Sinister pads on them. Should be a lot better stopping. So we'll break those pads in, they'll be good. Onto the stainless steel line. Okay, we used our speed bleeder to bleed these brakes out just because I didn't feel like sitting here for 20 minutes trying to pump it up. So they're pumped, they're ready to go, they stopped, everything's done. And they stopped fine. We got perfect pedal. So what we're gonna do is just clean up, and then I'll do a whole run through the bike. Okay, so we're all done. We put the bike back on it. We've got the stainless steel brake lines on the rear. Run through here. The stainless steel brake lines on the front. And we're all done. Everything's wired up, or I should say, all done as usual. Thanks for watching. Share the video. Tell all your friends. Give us a thumbs up. We're still trying to hit that 100. We're pretty damn close to it now, but we want to have 100 subscribers by the end of September. Mid-September is really what our goal was. So share the videos. Tell everybody about us. And stay and watch and enjoy. Thanks.
As always, YouTube, like and subscribe for more videos, and give us a big thumbs up and help us get to 100 subscribers. Thanks for watching.